Radio Bristol. It's Jonathan Ray here, and I've got with me, I'm delighted that Ben Franks from Novel Wines and Ben Franks Wines is with me, and also Sarah Menage as well, who's writer, musician and performer, written books, proud owner of an equity card.
Where did you get that from?
Well, you, I imagine.
Did I say it?
Yeah, I think you did.
I'm so proud.
So Sarah Menage and also Ben Franks, good morning to both of you. Thank you very much for being here on Happy Hour.
Thank you. Good morning.
We're happy.
But you know what?
Convincing ourselves.
But hang on a second. This must be happy hour because we've just said on social media, cheers. Thanks to Ben. What have you bought us, Ben?
I bought you the Cardosh Fairy Tale sweet wine. I know it's 10 a.m, but we've all got
it's
sweet
delicious.
too. So, and a nice dessert wine.
Smells wonderful as well.
At some point on Twitter, we will you will see the boomerang shot that's just been taken of us saying cheers. Oh, now that sounds like an expert wine taster.
That sounds like somebody who likes wine.
Yes, and it was actually you, Sarah. That was. So remind me, because we've done this before, Ben. What should I be doing with this white wine before I taste it?
Just give it a bit of a swirl in the glass.
Yes.
Put your nose in. See what you
The
smell.
nose is going in.
A bit of pear, bit of quince, honey,
Oh,
and
hello.
Oh, quince.
then give it a taste and
got that.
see what you think.
Oh, here we go. You
But
keep chatting, guys.
But it's
I've already done it.
It's a Hungarian dessert wine, so it's a Tokai, but it's not as sweet. It's only late harvest, so it's nice and gentle, which is quite nice, I think.
It is actually, because when as I went to drink it, you said dessert wine. I went, oh, hello. But actually, no, it's not as sweet as you'd expect it to be.
No.
It's more complex.
And beautiful with blue cheese as well.
Oh, it's 2 in the morning for cheese and wine. But thank you so much for bringing that in, Ben. That's very
My pleasure.
kind. Thank you very much. And we're here to share what makes us happy. And I'm delighted that Ben and Sarah are here to talk about that. And Sarah, books and songs on the agenda for you.
Yes, but I want to say something first.
Oh, do.
Because I realised after I'd written my list that over and above and through and beyond and under and throughout, all of that is the most important thing is your relationships with other people and love, caring, sharing things. And every single one of the things that I've put on my list is better in company.
Which actually,
even writing.
Well, oh really? Do you
Well,
find?
I think it's good to have someone around. You know, a presence.
Is that because
So-
you can bounce ideas off somebody?
You can have an excuse for not doing it.
That's because we're on the dessert wine, you see. So.
We are.
But interestingly, you say that because on Ben's first thing of his happy list is his other half.
Yeah, so
There you are, you see,
Yeah.
Sarah.
That's what I need.
yeah, I put my lovely Neve at the top of the list. Met her during university, and we stayed in Bath and getting married in a couple of years. So
And she's good at everything that you're not.
yeah, she is, and probably better at everything I'm good at as well. But no, make a good team. Yeah, she's brilliant.
Is that the secret to a great team?
Yeah, well, having a better half.
Yeah.
I think so.
And so were you doing the same course at university?
Yeah, so we both did joint courses, and one of the things we both did was English literature. So we met on there.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, wipe your eyes there, Sarah.
What am I crying about? With joy for you.
Oh,
Exactly.
Thank you.
But you have put books, songs, writing, singing, and playing them. I mean, that's great therapy.
Oh, it is therapy. Yes, it's very important actually. I couldn't manage without. And if I were, use the right grammar, on a desert island, if I didn't have books and an instrument, I would at least want some paper and a pen to be able to write what I was feeling and experiencing. And I think it's about sharing it. I think that's the reason why I like to do it. And if I've had whatever experience I've had, if I can make a song out of it and either laugh about it or cry about it, because I do comic and tragic songs, it feels better.
And what instruments do you play?
Well, I hesitate to call it playing,
Okay.
but I muck around on the piano, and I used to muck around on the guitar, but I can't do it anymore because it gives me a bit of a crick in my neck.
Ah, right. But but I get I can sense the therapeutic value of music for you.
Oh, it's absolutely essential.
Well,
and
actually-
listening to it as well, of course.
But I can sense the creative art, the creative process is therapy.
It is, yes. Yes.
And you talk about sharing, but the thing is, you're here sharing with us and the BBC Radio Bristol audience. So there's three of us here for a start.
Yeah, I like that. But I like it, I just feel as if there are just three of us.
And that's the way. But then we're just kicking back and having a chat and a glass of wine, courtesy of Ben, of course. Now you talk about being on a desert island and being away from it all, but needing pen and paper. But if Ben's on holiday, he needs food.
I do need
That's
food.
your first. The cuisine, the cuisine.
Yeah.
We all need food.
But
Yeah.
but I'm interested because, like you, when I was growing up, I was a fussy eater.
I was
Really, is there anything?
really fussy.
What wouldn't you eat, or is it easy to ask you what you would eat?
I was I wouldn't really touch dairy growing up. I was a bit fussy about. I was a meat and two veg child, really. But now I just love exploring anything completely different. I mean, I didn't eat beetroot for about 19 years.
Oh, I didn't like
love it.
beetroot.
No,
Yeah,
I'm not
and-
keen now, let alone 19 years.
I think it just depends where you go and how it's made, because it's so easy to be enclosed into making the same thing every day or the same sort of thing, that when you get out to a restaurant in the middle of a country you've never been to and you taste something completely new, and it's just lovely.
So I take it you're quite well travelled in that case, and you enjoy, when you're travelling, enjoy just trying out local cuisines.
Not as well travelled as I'd like to be, but when I go, for me, eating out is the best part of a holiday. Just I could restaurant hop the whole day and and just try
goodness.
tapas.
How are you so
meze, all
slim?
sorts. I don't know. That's a good question.
He spits out the wine.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the other thing. But of course, you also know what wine to have with which dish.
I do now, yeah, and I have to admit that there's nothing better when you get the right food and the right bottle of wine next to each other. It just makes the whole thing absolutely marvellous. And when you're sharing it
Oh,
with
I
friends
agree,
and loved
I
ones as
agree.
well, it's brilliant.
Tearing and sharing food and wine is a great social experience, actually.
Yes.
Definitely.
How about when it's home? Are you good in the kitchen at all, Sarah? Do you like cooking?
I'm good at chatting to the person who's cooking.
And sampling
and
what they're-
encouraging
Yes.
and supporting.
But it's the social side of food it's all about the cooking of it and the preparing and obviously the eating of it. But it's the social side that's really important.
I like it when people are all around the kitchen table and all doing a bit. I can chop a bit of garlic or something, and everybody's together doing it. That's just lovely, isn't it?
I don't get invited to those kind of parties. That's the problem.
Oh, they are rare.
And from your point of view, Ben, what food does it for you the most?
Oh, that's the hardest question I think I've had
Wow.
all week. For me, I mean, the one food I could eat and carry on eating is a good chili. When it's nice and spicy and properly flavoured, I could just go for a pot of chili all on my own quite happily. Yeah.
Hot food for you, Sarah?
Gosh, well, I do like it. That's therapeutic as well, actually, isn't it? If you've got a cold or something.
Oh yeah, well exactly.
Lots
it
of
clears
good
a few
spices and
cobwebs.
things in
Yeah.
there.
So do you not cook at home at all then, Sarah?
Oh, I do always. Yeah, I have to cook.
Well, likewise. But it's easy to get something in a box. And heat
Oh
it.
no,
No.
I'd rather chop an onion and then think something else might go with this.
And do you have a suitable wine to go with your food for an evening? 'Cause
Well,
Ben's your man.
I like most wines, as long as they're not too cheap.
Fair enough. What do you think of the wine that Ben has brought?
I
us
think
then?
it's delicious.
It's absolutely
It's
lovely.
got a complexity about it,
Good.
which even on a Saturday morning I can appreciate.
Oh yeah, no, this is risky stuff. I mean, I'm staying off it just for the moment because I've got to try and keep control of you two. But also when you're abroad there, Sarah, when you're there with your pen and bit of paper, you've got to taste the local cuisine. What
yes.
food does it for you?
What food does it for me?
I've asked Ben the question. He found it hard to answer, but he likes a good chili.
Yes, I think I like Mediterranean food.
Mm-hmm.
I like lots of olive oil and fish and,
There's
peppers and
Also the colour.
fresh vegetables.
Fresh vegetables, and the colour's really lovely
Oh,
as well.
colours, very important. Now, if this was still Phil Hammond's show, he would talk about colours being anti-cancer. things.
Well, exactly. Well, you need enough colour on your
you
plate.
need a rainbow on your plate.
You need a rainbow on your plate, yes, because I've had similar advice from another specialist in the field. So I know where you're coming from on that respect. How you need enough colour on your plate, like a rainbow on your plate, as you say.
Yes.
Yeah. And Ben, let's talk about when you're away, an aimless walk, or even when you're here, an aimless walk.
Well, talking about Greek meze and things, is me and my other half and her family went to Lesbos in Greece recently, and we tried some beautiful meze. But aimless walk-wise, a local told us about this drive that she takes their dogs up every morning, and just said, "Oh, if you just walk up there, you get a good walk, 10 minutes up, 10 minutes back."
Oh, yeah.
And we ended up walking up one morning and just going all the way up to the top of one of the mountains and just looking over all these, they weren't wild sheep, but they were free sheep, put it that way, and just looking out at the views. And it's just, for me, the perfect time to turn off when you're walking with nowhere to go in particular, nowhere to be. Because, when I come back, business to run, I've got meetings, places to be, everything's timetabled. So going on an aimless walk in the middle of nowhere, no idea where I'm going, is pretty happy.
Well, as long as you can find your way back.
That's it, yeah. I tend to
helps
leave
if
that
it's
to the
Greece.
person I'm with. Yeah, in Greece.
Just something sunny, I think, would be the best bit, wouldn't you?
It was lovely when it was sunny, wasn't it?
yes,
In the good old days.
How about, because would an aimless walk help you to think about your creative process?
I do like walking. I think, yes, there was sort of philosophers who used to walk to philosophise, didn't they? Were they called the ambulists or something like that?
But just the atmosphere, the sense of quiet, the sense of peace, being away from your mobile phone, and perhaps just being alone.
That's terribly important.
Yes.
Being away from the technology.
But would you like to do this aimless walk on your own, or would you have to be with other
I'd
people?
rather be with other people. But sometimes one has to
Sometimes just take
do it alone.
Sometimes, but sometimes,
There's nobody available
but
to
sometimes,
accompany you.
sometimes the solace can be quite special, can't it? Just you.
Oh, solitude is desperately important, yes. But one can have too much.
Ah, okay. Well, then we'll
And we are living in a time. I know this is happy hour,
yes.
but there's an epidemic of loneliness we hear,
Oh, yes.
and I think technology has got a lot of responsibility for that.
Well, I suppose the argument is that we have our friends in the virtual world as opposed to the real world, which is the way it's going. But you have put the sea and the sky as one of your happy things.
Oh yes.
Oh, listen to this. She's off now.
The coast. I would like to live by the coast, really.
Right. Well,
But
not.
if Bristol was only by the coast, it would be fantastic, because I do love Bristol. But yes, I had a little trip to Teignmouth yesterday, or the day before, and we went in the sea, and it was just, it's my perfect thing, being in the sea with all that space and all that light, and it doesn't matter really what the weather is.
No.
It's just gorgeous.
Now that's
And
interesting.
I like the fact that it changes.
I'm intrigued. It doesn't matter what the weather is because
It's better if it's sunny.
it is better.
It is better because it makes the water sparkle.
It does, but don't you just love a bracing day with the winds that's bracing? And
I think that sort of day reminds me of my childhood holidays.
Okay.
The bad weather in
I was
summer.
going to say, I remember once going for a long walk in some hills somewhere, and it was a cold day. The wind was not icy chilly, but it was very cold, and the wind was just lashing against your face. And then you just find a pub and you have a big roast dinner and a pint.
Sounds lovely.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Does the weather not bother you on these aimless walks you go on?
Doesn't, no. I mean, if anything, if it's bad weather, it tends to wake me up. So that's always good. We started some early morning walks when I got back from Greece, actually, and the change from 31 to 12 degrees was quite staggering.
Bracing.
But, I just love it.
It's interesting you put the sea and the sky, including swimming in one, lying under the other. What do you like about lying under? Do you just like
I
looking
think
up?
looking at the sky is really important, and I swim. I swim outside 5 days a week, and I always make sure I do some backstroke, because I don't know. I think it's important to look into the distance, actually, because I think that's relaxing to your mind and gives you a bit of perspective and relaxing to your thoughts, and just the clouds drifting about and changing shape, and all the different colours of blue that you see. I mean, it's just beautiful, and it gives you a slightly sort of spiritual feeling, I think.
One of the things I do like about living around here in Bristol and Bath is going up a hill and just seeing the view. You go to Dundry, for example.
Yes.
Spectacular view right across.
Yes.
Or even if you go to Cabot Tower in Bristol. Just
I used to go up Brandon Hill often just to get some perspective on things. If you've got a problem and you're just with it all close up and everything's, with books and stuff, they're a bit close, aren't they? So you need something to kind of wash your mind a bit.
The skyline is far.
Yes.
How about you from a point of view of having your own business there, Ben? I mean, do you find getting a sense of perspective helps with that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you spend too much time in your own company, you can come up with the worst ideas. But as soon as you walk out and realise, okay, life is about right now, not necessarily about where I want to be constantly. Just lifts that added layer of pressure.
Is that what you're usually thinking about? What you want it to be?
Yeah, it's usually I'm not quite there yet. What can I do next? And
the other thing is
it's
dwelling
nice
in
to
the
have a
past,
break.
which is something I quite often do.
Yeah, I tend to avoid the past, but the pressure comes to the future for me. But I mean, but the past for me is a lovely bank of memories, and I think that's just because I've got bad short-term memory loss or something. But I seem to
It's all the
forget
wine.
Yes, you took the words right out of my mouth there, Sarah. I
It
was
is,
thinking exactly the same. But it's interesting that I suppose because you have a business, you've actually always got to look forward.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
You've got to plan, haven't you?
Yeah, and it's the nature of when you run your own thing as well. Is you're constantly trying to be something. Or I mean, I'm sure a lot of people are, but when you're sort of the one steering it, you're always looking at what do I have to do next. And sometimes it's nice to take the pressure off and go, actually, I don't have to do anything right now. I'm just gonna look at this view or have a glass of wine and
you can let
boost
go.
to Bristol.
Can you let go of the responsibility at those moments?
At those
because it must be
moments,
a bit
yes, yeah.
stressful. Sometimes.
Oh, but very much. I mean, when people say it's a roller coaster, it really is. You have your massive highs, and then you have your real lows as well. So it's nice to get off the roller coaster from time to time and just sit down.
All right, when you see a view that you really enjoy, you can put this out to both of you. I'm interested because when you see a view that, like you were saying, Sarah, about getting a sense of perspective, let's imagine we are at the top of Cabot Tower, just for argument's sake, and we're just looking down at the SS Great Britain. We can see across the Dundry, or we just pan round, we can see a bit of Clifton and the suspension bridge. How long do you dwell on that view? Or a view?
Time disappears. I've no idea.
Because I can stand there for ages.
Yeah.
And time does disappear.
You can be absorbed in it, can't you?
Do you find that bad?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the view a lot and the mood I'm in. But there has been times where I've just stood and just wandered off into my own world a little bit. And then there's other times where I'm sort of reminded of something I've got to do.
One of the things I like about the coast is that you can find little areas where there's nothing of the modern world around. So all you've got are rocks, sand, sea and sky. I mean, that's fantastic. It's elemental and it's almost prehistoric, except that perhaps there wouldn't be so much sand.
Also, one of the things I find difficult sometimes is leaving a view. If you are staggered by what you see, you're amazed by it. You've taken all these photographs, and of course with technology you can see the photograph you've taken. You haven't got to wait for the film to be developed and all the rest of it. But even so, seeing it with your own eye, you don't want to leave it.
The photograph isn't the thing, is it?
No, of course it's not. No. But if you want a memory of that at least. But sometimes you can dwell on a view to the extent that you don't want to leave it. I often find.
I want to tell you something. I was once in Edinburgh with Brian Patton, and I was looking at some view with him, and I said, oh, God, that would make a lovely photograph. And he said, it's not a bad view either.
Oh,
I like that.
Yeah.
And on that note, I tell you what, we'll because we're going to come to your songs. That's a lovely sort of moment where we can sort of take a little break, and we've got songs that you've chosen, your happy songs as well. And I know that one of you likes dancing. So,
How did I put that? That was me, was it?
well, it might have been Ben.
It could have been both of us.
So I'm delighted
dance
that
together.
having a nice conversation and a glass of the sweet stuff as well. Thanks to Ben Franks and Sarah Menage, my guests for Happy Hour on BBC Radio Bristol. Hang on, more on the way. Together. We're having a nice chat, actually. If only we could have broadcast the chat we've just had. Because, Ben, you did say just a minute ago that you were enjoying hearing Sarah's stories.
I was, yeah. It was,
And that made me very happy.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, let's just indulge ourselves in the next story, potentially, because although Sarah is a writer and performer, studied drama, but also medicine for a while.
Oh, 2 years of that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So clearly there was a medical bent there somewhere.
Yes, I mean, I've got 3 medical brothers and sisters. Brother and sisters. It was the done thing in the family. And when I got there to Barts, I kind of realised I was very interested in the human body and very interested in biology, human biology especially. And I was interested in medicine, but I didn't really want to be a doctor. And instead, no, I'm not going to say what I should have done. But and I chucked it all up, and I went to drama school, and it was fantastic.
Yes,
actually.
I was going to say you
it.
must have loved that. That must have made you happy.
I loved it. Well, I was going from dissecting a human body to lying on my back, shouting "Ma, me, ma, more, moo, more." It was rather lovely.
Were you on the alternative comedy circuit at one point?
I was, yes.
Yeah, you know, you see, I mean, there's all sorts of stories. Maybe not broadcastable, Ben. You know, I mean, but that's quite a. I mean, it's quite a shift, or is it?
Well, I mean, Phil Hammond does both. Doesn't
Exactly,
he?
I know. And has made a success.
You've got to have
of
a
it.
sense of humour, I think.
Well,
You're dissecting.
Well, I was going to say,
bodies.
medics do have a sense of humour of quite a sense of humour. You'd have to working
I
in that
think
profession.
you have to, yes.
Yes.
And actually, humour is extremely important, isn't it? I think it's a kind of last resort before despair. I mean, I know this is happy hour, but
I know, yeah.
it's essential.
Well, I was just going to your second point on the happy things, because you say this is happy hour. Laughing.
Sorry, that wasn't
That
very
wasn't
good,
quite.
was
That
it?
was more of a. that was a bit of a sinister
I know,
laugh.
it was very sinister.
Yeah, but laughing
Oh, yes,
with friends, family.
laughing.
I mean, it comes back to that thing that everything you do, you love doing it with. It's better when it's with other people.
Yes, and you know, sometimes you can just laugh at nothing, can't you? I just remember when I was at school, we would just laugh at. We didn't even know what we were laughing about, and we would get the giggles, and it would be infectious, and we'd all be just absolutely rolling around and wetting ourselves.
I love laughing
Literally,
at nothing. I just love bursting out into laughter spontaneously for no reason. Are you like that, Ben?
Oh, all the time.
Oh yeah. What makes you laugh?
Everything, really. Big comedy fan, but it tends to be. It's just the strangely mundane things that I tend to be the only one who finds them funny, and then my Jimmy Carr laugh cracks out, which is a sort of.
We've got a Jimmy Carr laugh.
I seem to do. I don't know if I laugh on the wrong part of my
Oh,
belly.
there's no right or wrong part, is there? I've got a friend who
inherited.
sometimes goes.
I've inherited my mother's cackle is the problem. So if I really let loose, I will just cackle, which is never good.
I've been told I laugh like Muttley from Dastardly and Muttley. I've been told I laugh like that occasionally, but I like a good old guffaw.
But yes, and other people's laughs are sometimes very funny, aren't they? So you know, it just goes off. At drama school, we had this game we used to play. Here's a story. We would lie on the floor. We did a lot of lying on the floor at drama school, I think. And everyone would have their heads on each other's tummies. Can you imagine that? So you're in a circle.
Yes, okay, yep.
And inevitably someone would start laughing, and then that person would make somebody's head bobble up and down, and that would make them laugh. And so it would just go round the circle. It was called Giggly Tummies.
Giggly tummies.
I recommend it.
Yeah. No,
But you can't do it just with you and Neve, I don't think.
No, probably not.
I think you have to invite a few friends.
How many
will,
would
yeah.
it take to make the perfect circle for that?
I think 8 is supposed to be a good number.
The optimum number is 8.
I think it's a good number generally for a group.
Maybe
I
I'll
read that somewhere.
finish my next wine tasting with with some tummy laughs afterwards.
But I mean, you can even. Some people have these sort of laughing classes, don't they?
Yes, they do. Yes, yeah.
I don't know how that works.
What you say about the mundane things that make you laugh. I mean, I love it when observational comedians. I mean, let me go back to people like Jasper Carrot and Dave Allen, for example, but also Peter Kay currently too. Observational.
I love him.
Yeah, who just the normal everyday life.
Yes.
Just make it funny. I mean, that's a great skill, a great
It is
art.
funny.
Yeah, just to be able to sort of just even just standing in a queue at the post office, can be made funny by a clever comedian, I find.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm
Yes.
glad you mentioned Dave Allen as well. He's
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
brilliant man.
May your God go with you.
Yeah.
Exactly, and that famous piece of music. Well, also on your list, I suppose another social occasion's Christmas.
Oh
on your
yeah,
list, Ben.
yeah. I'm a big Christmas fan.
Oh, yeah.
I'm one of those annoying people who counts down the days when.
Oh,
when we get
well,
close.
how many days till Christmas then,
Oh
Ben?
damn! You put me on the spot
Oh,
now. It must
okay, don't worry.
be 90-ish now.
Oh, roughly.
Oh, really?
yeah.
God!
No, it's just when you go back home and you know, for us, we haven't got a grand house, but we've got a small open fireplace, and you know, you have some port and some cheese, and you just open your presents or you relax. You got nowhere to be again, and you just, you know, it's mince pies. There you go. That's a
Oh.
Christmas highlight for me.
Yeah, with brandy butter.
Brandy butter, yeah. Oh, the big turkey when it comes out, you devour it in about 10 minutes. Christmas is just lovely. I just love it.
Yes, I think the Christmas meal. I do like the Christmas meal,
Mm.
and I like the little rituals.
But everyone has different
Glass of
rituals.
sherry.
I mean,
I
do
never
you-
have sherry except on Christmas Day,
Oh my goodness! Really? Oh right, okay.
and it seems to smell of Christmas sherry to me.
But
Yeah,
Amontillado.
people
yeah,
do.
okay, very nice. Yeah, quite nutty. Yeah.
Yes.
But you
Good
mentioned
choice.
you mentioned the rituals there, Sarah, which is interesting because everyone has different rituals and different family traditions, and sometimes it can cause a bit of offence. Sometimes, for instance, some families won't open their presents or have their Christmas meal till after the Queen has spoken, for example. Those sorts of things. You know, it depends. You know, you can't open a present until then, or you've got to have the same ritual in terms of what you have on the plate. Do you have cauliflower on the dinner plate for Christmas? No, a lot of people don't. You've got to have sprouts.
I
You've
put
gotta
as
have
much as I
everything.
can on the
Everything.
plate. I think the best thing about it though is just being with family, because
Yes,
it doesn't really matter
agreed.
what your sort of things are, but if you're with people you actually love and get along with, then it's
Yeah, but
really
your
nice.
family are delighted because they've got you there owning a wine company, so you
Yeah,
bring
that's true.
lots
That's
of
true.
wine to the
I do,
table.
yeah. It's kind of become quite a boozy Christmas now. We've got sparkling wine for breakfast, you know, a couple of bottles with your meal, and then a few bottles of port to finish
is
off
the
the
main
day.
point.
It's a
The main
big
point of
day.
I'm
Big day.
surprised you remember it, Ben.
Me too.
You say you've got happy memories of Christmas. What memories? You know. And what's the typical Christmas holiday? How long would you have off for Christmas?
Oh, not very long. Not nowadays. 3 or 4 days.
And do you enjoy New Year as well? Or is that
Yeah,
something- or do you just stay in for New Year and
Love
know,
New Year,
oh,
but
really?
I don't really remember those ones. That's the difference.
I'm not really a New Year person anymore. I'm happy to be in bed at 10. Or am I boring, Sarah, do you think?
What? Stay in bed until 10? I think that's not
no,
at all
go,
boring.
no, go to bed at 10 and not see
Oh,
the
I
New
see.
Year in.
Oh,
Is that a-
gosh, you've got to drink in the new year.
Have you really?
I think just a sip.
Just a sip.
I played a game this New Year.
Oh,
where
yeah.
This was somebody else's tradition, not mine. I found myself amongst a group of people, luckily, and they had a game where they everybody wrote resolutions, and then put the resolutions into a pile in the middle, and you chose someone else's resolution for yourself.
Oh, my goodness.
And so you get resolutions that you wouldn't think of yourself. And mine was, don't put up with any shit in 2018.
Can I just apologise for the language that has...
Oh, sorry.
Yes, we're not supposed to
Excusing
swear.
my
Yes,
French.
exactly. I think it's the wine that's got to you. Yes, apologies for...
Sorry about that.
Oh, Sarah.
I thought you had a beeping system.
Oh, no, we're not in delay. No, never mind.
Oh,
There you go.
okay.
There's a slap wrist for you there, Sarah.
Sorry.
But there you go. And have you taken any in 2018? Don't say the word. Yeah, okay.
My intention has been not to.
Yeah, fair enough. But your top of your list is dancing.
Top of the list?
Yeah, on the happy things.
I
It
did it
says
the other way round.
Did you really? Oh,
I
okay.
put the top first.
Oh, books and so. Okay, fine. But let's say they're in equal measure.
No, I
Okay.
absolutely love dancing.
Yeah.
And recently, I went to a friend of my son's wedding, and I had the most glorious time because, wedding dancing. Weddings are great because you've got all age groups, and that's a real community feeling. I think that's good. We've split off too much into different age groups, I think, now.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a great time dancing at the wedding, and I didn't want it to stop, so I went on with them to the club, and I had a great time dancing in the club.
Brilliant.
And I discovered how wonderful Ed Sheeran is to
Oh,
dance
oh
to.
my goodness! I would never have put the two together.
Really?
No, really.
Ed Sheeran and dancing?
I've never danced to Ed Sheeran.
Well,
Really?
you ought to dance to The Shape of You.
Right. Ah, okay. I'll bear
It's
that in mind.
great.
But we haven't got that. But what we've got is your happy song
Oh, yes.
from the Divine Comedy.
And the other thing about that is that it reminds me of Father Ted, which is, part of the comedy thing.
Yes, which is coming to the stage, I think. I think they're doing a stage
Is
version
it?
of that.
Oh.
Yeah. So, a bit of a tribute to Father Ted. This is Sarah Menage's happy song. Don't worry, Ben, you'll get yours as well. We might even leave the microphones open to hear you singing it. Okay, fair enough. It's the Divine Comedy, Songs of Love on BBC Radio Bristol. It's BBC Radio Bristol with the Divine Comedy, Songs of Love. Yes, recognise the Father Ted tune in there, Sarah. Sarah Menage and Ben Franks, my guest here on BBC Radio Bristol for our happy hour. And we've loosened up, we're smiling, we're happy. You happy, Sarah?
I am happy.
You happy there, Ben?
Always, yeah.
How about if I mention
Temporarily, in my case.
How about if I mention Stilton and sweet wine?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's glowing there, you see, Sarah. There you are, you see. Pure indulgence and relaxation, I'm told.
Yeah, so I didn't eat cheese at all. Like I was saying earlier, I was just fussy eater, didn't really touch dairy, so I didn't eat cheese at all really till I was 18, 19, and all the pizza, all of it just passed me by in childhood. But yeah, it seemed to go on. Like when I didn't drink coffee, I went straight to black coffee. I went straight to blue cheese. So I passed all the normal cheeses and went straight for the strong stuff. And the best thing in the world, because you got the acid of a sweet wine, and you got acid in blue cheese, and then you've got the sweetness with the salt. And it just balances
You've got
really
acid
beautifully.
in sweet wine?
Yeah, so the best sweet wine has that uplifting acidity, so it doesn't feel like syrup and you don't feel heavy.
Yes,
it feels
okay.
fresh like
Yeah.
this one.
Yes,
happy
yes.
hour, uplifting acidity. There we are, you see.
Uplifting acidity.
We thought about this.
But yeah, whenever I'm doing something dull, like my accounts or something like that, I love a bottle of sweet wine, block of Stilton, and I'm a very happy man.
Oh, my
It's
goodness.
good.
That sounds like the sort of thing you should have when you're writing. Then a block of Stilton, a sweet wine, and
Does
your
sound good.
and your pen and your bit of paper, because you've been writing hard. You've got a book that's been released this month, The Glass Girl.
Well, actually, I wrote that 14 years ago.
Oh my goodness!
It's a period piece, so to speak. And but I felt that it needed to be in the world rather than in my drawers. So I've spent. I thought it would take a couple of months actually, because I had finished it, but it took 6 months
Right.
to get it into a publishable stage.
Yeah.
And it's coming out on the 8th of September.
And how does it feel to have something tangible in your hand that's published, that's your words?
It's nerve-wracking.
Right. Oh, okay.
You think there's got to be a mistake in it?
Oh.
Oh, I wish I'd done that differently.
Well-
No, it's fantastic. It really is. I'm really pleased that I've done it. I've done another one as well. I did one, How to Make Life Nice.
So what was it like revisiting something that you'd written 14 years
It was
ago?
really, it was interesting, incredibly interesting, because for me, it's about a 42-year-old woman who wants to have a baby, and she's grappling with the possible loss of fertility and aging generally. And I'm thinking, God, you're only 40 What's the matter? What's the matter? Oh, sorry.
Oh, you've done it again. Apologies
done it
again. My
again.
goodness.
You're
only
only
42. Yes.
What's the matter with you?
Yeah.
You know, you're not getting old yet, but your fertility does fall off a cliff after 35, so you are leaving it a bit late at that point.
So
It's a comedy, though.
It's a comedy. But did you rework any of it?
Yes, I did. I put in. It needed an extra couple of scenes in, which I put in. You can order it now from my website.
Ah, there we go. You've got a website. My goodness, I didn't even know.
Do you have a link to it?
I do have a link to it. I was
right.
on the
Oh,
basis that you were
I see.
talking about pens and papers and things.
I know.
And being away from technology.
That's actually what I would like to be able to do,
I
but I
know.
do type.
Now, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to finish our happy hour. And thank you very much for bringing this lovely wine in as well.
My pleasure.
And what was it? The uplifting acidity.
The uplifting acidity, yeah.
There we are.
yeah,
You see, that's
yeah.
lovely. Thank
Cuts
you very
through
much.
the salt.
And I think what we'll do is we'll head towards the news with your choice. Why do you like Top Loader, Dancing in the Moonlight?
When it comes on in my car, because the other half, Neve, made a CD for me, second track on it, about 2 or 3 years ago, and whenever it comes on, I will sing it, even if I'm in a really bad mood and I feel pretty uplifted. I'm not going to sing it today though, because I have the worst monotone ever.
I love this one too.
Okay, so you're going to join in as well then, Sarah?
Yes, I will. I'll be dancing.
Brilliant.
Dancing in the studio.
There we go. Dancing in the studio. Sarah Minaj and Ben Franks, my guest. Thank you for being my happy hour guests on BBC Radio Bristol.
Thank you.